said that they did not expect to find more bodies. Irish police said that no one remained missing after Friday's explosion in Creaslow.
It was a very, very traumatic scene that people came across. It was a very, very confused scene, as you can imagine. There was a lot of debris. There was a lot of very, very traumatised people already at the scene.
Meanwhile, police are investigating the cause of the blast, though some officials said that the evidence is pointing towards a tragic accident. According to an eyewitness who described the moment after the blast, said that the area was covered in ash and puff of smoke.
The area was covered in ash and a puff of smoke, whatever. So basically from that we kind of run out to see what had happened, and just within seconds people from the community had just come running up the roads. Cars stopped, people getting out of cars, running towards the building to see who could help.
Ireland's police force said that the mid-afternoon explosion killed 4 men, 3 women, 2 teenagers and a girl of primary school age. Meanwhile, 8 people were hospitalized, out of which 1 was in critical condition after the blast destroyed the Apple Green service station in the community of about 400 people near Ireland's rugged Atlantic coast. According to the police officials, the entire scene was traumatic. Sources further said that the emergency responders from Ireland and the neighbouring Northern Ireland also joined in for the search and recovery operation. Irish Prime Minister Michael Martin said that the entire nation is mourning.
The entire nation is mourning and really shocked and deeply saddened. The young child in a shop loses her life, and 2 teenagers, along with men and women who were going about their lives as well.
The explosion leveled the gas station building, which holds the main shop and post office for the village, damaged an adjacent apartment building and shattered the windows in nearby cottages. Agency report, Republic TV.
And in other international news, a Palestinian assailant opened fire at an Israeli military checkpoint in East Jerusalem, wounding 2 people. This came hours after a pair of Palestinian teenagers were killed during an Israeli military raid in the occupied West Bank. A female soldier and a security guard were critically injured in the shooting incident. Gambia has launched an urgent door-to-door campaign to remove cough and cold syrups blamed for the deaths of children. After an alarm was issued by the WHO, more than 60 children died from kidney injury. The WHO says in connection with the syrups. SpaceX launches a rocket Falcon 9 from Florida. The rocket had 2 communication satellites, Intelsat's Galaxy 33 and Galaxy 34 on board. Citywide mass testing kicks off in Yuncheng in Shaanxi province on Sunday as COVID cases increase in the province following a week-long national holiday. The death toll from a gas station explosion that shattered a small village in northwest Ireland has risen to 10. According to emergency workers who combed through piles of rubble, said they did not expect to find any more bodies. And coming up after a very short break, all the news on how another deadly clash has occurred in the West Bank. Israeli soldiers have shot dead 2 Palestinian teenagers and 11 are injured in the clash. The Pope has warned of nuclear war risk, says learn from history over nuclear threats.
We are the 5th largest economy. We are the fastest growing major economy. Last year the economy was all geared up. Now is the time to set the goal in sight. Mission Superpower. The world supermarket.
world is ours for the taking. Witness the India growth story. Republic Media Network brings you India's biggest economic summit. Last year, we were all geared up.
This network is proof that everything in India is greenfield. Is it time for the Republic Network to do a spectacular intervention in global digital news media or not? It's my passion project. So that is our consecration to making India a superpower.
Now India has a clear goal, Mission Superpower. Witness the India growth story. Republic Media Network brings you India's biggest economic summit. Time to once again action our destiny. Focus on Mission Superpower. Witness the India growth story. Republic Media Network brings you India's biggest economic summit.
We are the fastest growing economy. We have the potential to become a superpower. Last year, the economy was all geared up. Now it's time to set the goal in sight. Mission Superpower.
Steady amid recession. Steady amid inflation. Goal is global dominance. Witness the India growth story. Republic Media Network brings you India's biggest economic summit. 2021, the Indian economy was all geared up.
We are headed for greatness as a nation. We will be a superpower. If there's something that I want to see in our lifetime, it is to have our best living years as a citizen of a superpower.
Now there's a new goal, Mission Superpower. Witness the India growth story. Republic Media Network brings you India's biggest economic summit. Mission Superpower is the ultimate goal. There's no stopping the India story. Witness the India growth story. Republic Media Network brings you India's biggest economic summit. Time to once again action our destiny. Focus on Mission Superpower.
You're watching World This Morning here on Republic, and as we were telling you, Israeli soldiers have shot dead 2 Palestinian teenagers in a military raid in the Jenin refugee camp in the occupied West Bank. According to Palestinian officials, this confrontation has made 2022 the deadliest year of violence in the occupied territory in nearly a decade. A report.
Two Palestinians were killed and 11 others were injured during a firefight between Israel Defense Forces and Palestinians during a raid in the Jenin refuge camp in the West Bank. According to Palestinian authorities, the victims were both 17 years old and were identified as Ahmad Mohammed and Mohammed Asus. Israeli soldiers allegedly entered the refuge camp in the morning hours and surrounded a house, following fire exchanges and military vehicles entering Jenin. According to sources, in recent months, Israel has conducted several raids on the camp, which is known as a stronghold of resistance fighters, followed by Palestinian counterattacks in Israel. Agency report, Republic TV.
The Pope used the opportunity to offer prayers for the victims of what he called a mad act of violence in Thailand to say a lot about current issues. Take a look.
The Pope used the opportunity to offer prayers for the victims of what he called a mad act of violence in Thailand. Pope Francis urged the world to learn from history on the threat of nuclear war over Ukraine and choose the path of peace.
Concilio 60 anni fa, non possiamo dimenticare il pericolo di guerra nucleare che proprio allora minacciava il mondo. Perché non imparare dalla storia?
The Pope was referring to the Cuban Missile Crisis in October 1962, when the deployment of ballistic missiles by the United States in Europe and the Soviet Union in Cuba risked escalation into nuclear war.
Anche in quel momento c'erano conflitti e grandi tensioni, ma si scelse la via pacifica. Sta scritto nella Bibbia, così dice il Signore: fermatevi nelle strade e guardate, informatevi dei sentieri del passato, dove sta la strada buona, percorretela, così troverete pace per la vostra vita.
Francis also offered his prayers to the victims of the mad act of violence in Thailand.
Assicuro la mia preghiera per le vittime del folle atto di violenza avvenuto 3 giorni fa in Thailandia. Con commozione affido al Padre della vita, in particolare i piccoli bambini e le loro famiglie.
He was referring to Thailand's worst mass killing, where 24 children were among the 36 people shot and slashed to death in an attack that shattered the serenity of the rural township of Uthai Savan. And in recalling the work of Scalabrini, a 19th century Italian bishop who founded a community that serves migrants and refugees, Pope Francis returned to a recurring theme of his papacy. Agency Report, Republic TV.
And that's all we have for you in World this morning. But coming up in the Morning Express, Prime Minister Modi on a 3-day visit to Gujarat, set to unveil slew of projects as the race to Gujarat for the elections has now begun. Also coming up, Shinde versus Uddhav for Bala Sahib's legacy. Shinde faction to submit symbol options to Election Commission today.
Last year, we were all geared up.
This network is proof that everything in India is greenfield. Is it time for the Republic Network to do a spectacular intervention in global digital news media or not? It's my passion project. So that is our consecration to making India a superpower.
Now, India has a clear goal: Mission Superpower. Witness the India growth story. Republic Media Network brings you India's biggest economic summit. Time to once again action our destiny. Focus on Mission Superpower. Witness the India growth story. Republic Media Network brings you India's biggest economic summit.
We are the fastest growing economy. We have the potential to become a superpower. Last year, the economy was all geared up. Now it's time to set the goal in sight. Mission Superpower.
Steady amid recession. Steady amid inflation. Goal is global dominance. Witness the India growth story. Republic Media Network brings you India's biggest economic summit. 2021, the Indian economy was all geared up.
We are headed for greatness as a nation. We will be a superpower. If there's something that I want to see in our lifetime, it is to have our best living years as a citizen of a superpower.
Now there's a new goal, Mission Superpower. Witness the India growth story. Republic Media Network brings you India's biggest economic summit. Mission Superpower is the ultimate goal. There's no stopping the India story. Witness the India growth story. Republic Media Network brings you India's biggest economic summit. Time to once again action our destiny. Focus on Mission Superpower. Witness the India growth story. Republic Media Network brings you India's biggest economic summit. No longer on the fence anymore. A new India is empowering a paradigm shift. The mission now is global dominance.
Tragic accident that had taken place in Nashik, that at least 11 passengers as of now have lost their lives.
Fire that has been reported on 12th floor of ground plus 12th floor residential building in Chembur.
The Air Force is celebrating the 90th IFJ.
Prime Minister Modi is on a 3-day visit to Gujarat, set to unveil a slew of projects as the race to Gujarat has now begun. Aam Aadmi Party leader stokes a fresh row, insults Prime Minister Modi, calls him neat. Shinde versus Uddhav for Bala Sahib's legacy. Shinde faction to submit a symbol option to the Election Commission today. Forces intensify their crackdown on terror. 2 terrorists are gunned down in Anantnag. Bengal's leader of opposition Shubhendu Adhikari writes to Amit Shah and the governor, seeks deployment of central forces in the state. Russian President Vladimir Putin is to chair his Security Council meeting. Good morning and welcome. You are watching the Morning Express on Republic TV. I'm Nupur Talwar Suri. We begin, in fact, with a news of an encounter that's coming in from Jammu and Kashmir. Forces, of course, are continuing their crackdown on terror. 2 terrorists have been gunned down in Anantnag. This encounter began a while ago, and we are learning that the Jammu and Kashmir police have now begun conducting search operations in the area. Further details are awaited. We are given to understand that this is being seen as a successful operation, as it was a fierce encounter that was underway in Anantnag. News just coming in that at least 2 terrorists have been gunned down. Zeenat on the phone line with us. Zeenat, good morning. Tell us more, please.
Good morning, Nupur. Yes, it's a success for the forces in South Kashmir's Anantnag, which is some 50 kilometers from Srinagar, where the encounter is still underway. As of now, 2 terrorists have been gunned down by the joint forces in Anantnag, but what we're picking from sources is that 1 more terrorist is holed up. Jammu and Kashmir police received input about the presence of terrorists in Tangpa area of Anantnag. The CASO was launched along with the joint forces, and the hiding terrorists fired upon the security forces when they zeroed near the suspected spot. As the visuals that we are beaming are near the encounter spot, where you can see the deployment, the reinforcement that was rushed, and also the outer cordon is intact. 2 dead bodies along with arms and ammunition have been recovered from the Anantnag operation, which still continues. Gunshots can be heard very clearly as picking from the sources that one more terrorist is holed up because there was an input about the presence of 3 terrorists in a particular village in Anantnag. That is why the CASO was launched, and as of now, the Jammu and Kashmir police along with the Indian Army were able to retrieve the 2 dead bodies of the terrorists, although they have not been identified yet, but yes, arms and ammunition too have been recovered from the site, and the encounter continues.
All right, Zeenat, our Kashmir Bureau Chief, joining us on that. Thank you very much for that information. So as Zeenat was pointing out, at least 2 bodies have been recovered, and there's been a large amount of ammunition that's also been recovered from the encounter site in Anantnag. Now, 2 days after a video clip surfaced of him attending a religious conversion event in Delhi, the Delhi Social Welfare Minister Rajendra Pal Gautam has resigned.
After the furor over a conversion event in the national capital on Friday, which was attended by AAP Delhi Minister Rajendra Pal Gautam,
ब्रह्मा विष्णु और महेश को कभी ईश्वर नहीं मानूंगा और ना ही उनकी पूजा करूंगा। मैं राम और कृष्ण को ईश्वर नहीं मानूंगा और ना ही उनकी कभी पूजा करूंगा। मैं गौरी गणपति आदि हिंदू धर्म के किसी भी देवी देवताओं को नहीं मानूंगा और ना ही उनकी पूजा करूंगा। ईश्वर ने अवतार लिया, इस पर मेरा विश्वास नहीं है। मैं ऐसा कभी नहीं मानूंगा कि तथागत बुद्ध विष्णु के अवतार है। ऐसे प्रचार को मैं पागलपन और झूठा प्रचार समझता हूँ। मैं श्राद्ध पक्ष कभी नहीं करूंगा और ना ही कभी पिंडदान करूंगा। मैं बुद्ध धर्म के विरुद्ध कभी कोई बात नहीं करूंगा। मैं कोई भी क्रियाकर्म ब्राह्मणों के हाथों से नहीं करवाऊंगा।
now the Arvind Kejriwal minister has resigned.
जिस मुद्दे पर अरविंद केजरीवाल और मेरी पार्टी का कोई लेना देना नहीं है और दीक्षा समारोह की पूरी 2.5 घंटे की वीडियो लाइव है, कोई भी देख ले, एक शब्द किसी भी धर्म के खिलाफ नहीं बोला, किसी की आस्था को ठेस पहुंचाने की बात नहीं की। और वो जो कह रहे हैं कि गालियां दी, एक शब्द दिखा दो, पूरी रिकॉर्डिंग है, लाइव चला है वो। तो वो जो जिस तरह दुष्प्रचार कर रहे हैं और मेरी पार्टी को बदनाम करने की कोशिश कर रही, इससे मैं हाथ हूँ।
Gautam was holding the portfolios of Social Welfare, SC and ST Cooperative, Gurudwara Elections and Women and Child Development in the Arvind Kejriwal-led Delhi government. Gautam found himself in the middle of a controversy on Friday after a video went viral, showing him attending the event when hundreds take pledge to convert to Buddhism and not consider Hindu deities as gods. The BJP took objection to his presence in the conversion event, alleging both Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal and his minister insulted Hinduism. Though Kejriwal stayed silent of the whole issue, the furor forced the minister to tender his resignation. Bureau Report, Republic TV.
Now, days after the gangster Deepak Tinnu escaped from police custody in Punjab's Mansa, his alleged accomplice was nabbed by a team of the Punjab police from the Mumbai airport. The Punjab Director General of Police Gaurav Yadav said a team of the anti-gangster task force had nabbed Tinnu's accomplice, who was trying to head to the Maldives. She was with Tinnu when he escaped from police custody. The DGP further said that efforts are on to nab the gangster. Punjab police also arrested a woman accomplice of the gangster. Amandeep is reporting on this. Is more details. Yes, Amandeep, good morning. Tell us more of what happened. Is there other fears that at least Tinnu could have left the country now?
Well, absolutely. This theory cannot be ruled out by the Punjab police. And in fact, the woman accomplice of gangster Tinnu was arrested from Mumbai. She has all set her plans to move to the Maldives for the further enjoyment. And in fact, she has been nabbed on the edge. And even further, the police have produced him late night before the duty magistrate and in fact got the remand of further 5 days. And 5 days of interrogation will reveal that how this woman accomplice made the plans and execute the plans to escape gangster Tinu, and who all are involved into this entire conspiracy. Just because Nupur, one cop has also already been suspended and dismissed from the duties as alleged involvement into this entire escaping of a gangster. And in fact, now the police is sensing that there are certain chains who are actually involved in this network, who are trying to escape several gangsters from the Punjab from the custody of the police as well. And even they are also smelling out several police officers are also involved into this. And even this girl knows inside out details of everything from gangster team to the other conspiracies that are being hatched to flee the gangsters from the police custody. So 5 days are more important. And in fact, this girl might be knowing the present location of gangster Tinu and even helped Punjab police to nab her again. Just because this is a major threat, Nupur, family members of Sidhu Moosewala are repeatedly getting threats from the several social media accounts, and releasing a gangster from the police custody is a very major concern of the Punjab police.
All right.
Yes.
Amandeep bringing us more details on this. Thank you very much for joining us. So as Amandeep is pointing out, there are now fears that the gangster who was involved allegedly in Sidhu Moosewala's murder could have escaped the country. Now, following the RSS Chief Mohan Bhagwat's comment on the caste system, he recently addressed the people of the Valmiki Samaj in Kanpur. He's on a 2-day visit during which he spoke about the Valmiki Ramayana. Here's more.
After the RSS Chief Mohan Bhagwat said that the caste system has no relevance,
विषमता नव्हती वगैरे वगैरे हे सगळं ठीक आहे, पण आज जर कोणी विचारलं की वर्ण आणि जातींबद्दल काय, तर समाजाचा विचार करणाऱ्या प्रत्येकाला हेच उत्तर द्यावं लागेल आणि हेच उत्तर त्यांनी दिलं पाहिजे, तरच तो समाजाच्या हिताचा विचार करतो की तो एक भूतकाळ आहे, तो विसरून जा. एव्हरीथिंग दॅट कॉजेस डिस्क्रिमिनेशन शुड गो आउट लॉक, स्टॉक अँड बॅरल.
RSS Chief Mohan Bhagwat reached Kanpur to attend the first Swar Sangam Ghosh camp of North India. Bhagwat was on a 2-day visit and addressed the people of Valmiki Samaj at Nana Rao Park. During the speech, Bhagwat hailed Valmiki Ramayana.
लायक बनना यानी कैसे बनना? वाल्मीकि रामायण पढ़ो. श्री राम का चरित्र जिया है. वाल्मीकि जी ने उनके अनुकरणीय गुणों का पूर्ण वर्णन किया है. सारा सार विचार करके सारी बातें रखी. भगवान वाल्मीकि जी हमारे लिए, संपूर्ण हिंदू समाज के लिए, मैं कहता हूं दुनिया में जिस मनुष्य को मानव बनना है उसके लिए महत्वपूर्ण है.
A heavy deployment of police force was made in the city ahead of Bhagwat's visit. Valmiki Jayanti is observed on October 9 every year. The day marks the birth anniversary of Maharishi Valmiki, who is credited with writing the original Ramayana during the lifetime of Lord Ram. Prime Minister Narendra Modi also extended greetings on the occasion. The celebrations mark the streets of the nation. The Uttar Pradesh government will celebrate the birth anniversary of sage Valmiki in a grand manner across the state. Earlier, the officials informed that various events have been planned for celebrations in Uttar Pradesh, including the continuous recital of the Ramayana at all the temples of Lord Rama and Hanuman, as well as at all the places associated with epic, along with the lighting of lamps or Deepdan. Bureau Report, Republic TV.
And here's a look at what else is making news this morning. Prime Minister Modi is on a 3-day visit to Gujarat, where he's all set to launch a slew of projects worth over 14,000 crore rupees. The Prime Minister will also address gatherings ahead of the state assembly elections that are due for later this year. West Bengal's leader of opposition, Suvendu Adhikari, has written to the Union Home Minister Amit Shah and the West Bengal governor demanding an urgent deployment of central forces in the wake of Mominpur violence. Amid Prime Minister Narendra Modi's Gujarat visit, the Aam Aadmi Party leader Gopal Italia has sparked a fresh controversy in a viral video. He can be seen using derogatory language against the Prime Minister. This triggered a major political storm between the BJP and the AAP. The Election Commission has frozen the Shiv Sena's bow and arrow symbol. The fight for the Sena symbol, however, continues to intensify. After a day of hectic parleys, Shinde's faction has been asked to submit a symbol option to the Election Commission today. Addressing the India-Australia joint briefing, External Affairs Minister Jai Shankar discussed India's stand on several issues. Speaking on India's relationship with Australia, the External Affairs Minister said both the countries believe in free water navigation. Meanwhile, he also spoke about Khalistan and the need to control terrorism.
As Minister Wong said, we've had really a very useful, very productive, very comfortable discussion today. The Khalistani issue that you have raised, from time to time we have engaged the Canadian government. I have myself engaged my counterpart.
In a major breakthrough, days after the gangster Deepak Thinno escaped from police custody in Punjab's Mansa, his alleged accomplice was nabbed by a team of the Punjab police from Mumbai airport. Days after the religious conversion tape sparked a row, the Delhi Minister Rajendra Pal Gautam has resigned from his post. Reacting to the incident, the BJP took a jibe at the Aam Aadmi Party, sparking big political fight over the video. In a tragic accident, a building collapsed near Lahori Gate in the national capital. The incident claimed the life of a 4-year-old and also left at least 10 people injured. Meanwhile, all the injured have been shifted to hospital for immediate medical treatment.
इसमें एक ग्राउंड फ्लोर, एक मेज़ानाइन फ्लोर और एक फर्स्ट फ्लोर, तो 2 मंजिला इमारत हम कह सकते हैं। तो इस इमारत में बारिश की वजह से पुरानी बिल्डिंग थी, काफ़ी पुरानी थी। आई कैन नॉट असर्टन कितनी पुरानी है, उसका जो है वो स्टेबिलिटी ख़राब हो गई, बिल्डिंग गिर गई। इसमें कई लोगों को चोट आई है। 10 लोग इसमें LNJP में हमने एडमिट किए हैं। उसमें से 1 पर्सन इज़ ब्रॉट डेड। 2 फेटल हो गया, एक बच्ची है 4 साल की खुशी, तो उसकी इसमें जान चली गई है। अभी हम लोगों का रेस्क्यू ऑपरेशन चल रहा है। NDRF की टीम्स 5 टीमें मौके पे हैं और हम लोग उनको पूरा सपोर्ट कर रहे हैं। कोशिश कर रहे हैं कि जल्दी से जल्दी मलबा हटाया जाए और अगर कोई और भी अगर हो सकता है दबा हुआ हो तो उसकी हम लोग जान बचा पाए।
Heavy rains lashed over a dozen districts in Uttar Pradesh, including the capital city. At least 9 people lost their lives as the state continued to face heavy downpour. Meanwhile, authorities have ordered schools to remain closed till the 12th of October. Russian President Vladimir Putin will be chairing his Security Council meeting today. The meeting comes at a time when the Russian forces have suffered military losses in Ukraine. Meanwhile, the war between Ukraine and Russia has entered its 229th day and continues to escalate. Now, after the Aam Aadmi Party Gujarat chief Gopal Italia hurled insults at Prime Minister Modi, the National Commission for Women has now taken cognizance of the matter, saying that the abusive and indecent language used by the AAP leader is gender-biased, misogynist and condemnable. The Commission has scheduled a hearing in the matter wherein he is required to appear in person at about 12:30 this afternoon. So the NCW sending a notice to Gopal Italia, who is the Aam Aadmi Party's Gujarat chief. The NCW taking cognizance of the matter, saying that abusive and indecent language used by the Aam Aadmi Party leader is gender biased, misogynist and condemnable. He's been asked to appear before the commission at about 12:30 this afternoon. Priyanka joins us live. She has more details on this. Yes, Priyanka, tell us more about the war of words that has been going on between the BJP and the Aam Aadmi Party over comments made by Italia.
Well, that's right, Nupur. We have been seeing the kind of war of words that have broken out, and yesterday itself we saw Gopal Italia make those comments as well, and those videos were excessively shared by the BJP as well, talking about how Gopal Italia in fact has been a repeat offender. He has had antecedents as well earlier, because they had shared videos from earlier as well where he had been making several statements that were casteist in nature, and they were also misogynistic in nature. And now we see the latest comments that he has made have also been taken cognizance of by the NCW, and of course he has been summoned by the NCW, and he will have to appear before them at 12:30 p.m. today. It seems unlikely though that he will be moving. He is right now not really responding, and he's refusing to comment on the statements that he had made as well. And now we see that Gopal Italia in fact is also defending the statements as well, and we have seen the kind of demeanor of the Aam Aadmi Party leaders earlier as well, then be it Arvind Kejriwal or then be it Gopal Italia as well, who are sticking by their statements as well, because there is a lot of controversy around in the poll-bound state of Gujarat when it comes to the statements that Gopal Italia had also made, as the BJP has condemned these statements. And this interestingly also comes just on the day when the Prime Minister also made in his speech this statement that he has never been judged by his caste as well. And then sadly we see that Gopal Italia has made these casteist comments which have been taken cognizance of by the NCW, who have also called it misogynistic in nature. And then of course they are going to be looking into this matter. They're going to be taking a statement from Gopal Italia as well. But as of now, the Aam Aadmi Party leader remains silent on the statements that he had made yesterday.
All right, Priyanka bringing us those updates from Ahmedabad. Of course, this war of words come on the day that the Prime Minister is going to be there on a 3-day visit. Thank you for the moment. Now, massive controversy, of course, has erupted with the Aam Aadmi Party's Gujarat State President Gopal Italia hurling insults at Prime Minister Modi. And here's the backgrounder on what's happened so far.
Elections, blaming and name-calling is common. But Aam Aadmi Party Gujarat State President has crossed all limits.
मुझे आप सब लोगों से जानना है कि क्या भूतकाल में कभी भी किसी भी बड़ा प्रधान ने ऐसा नौटंकी किया है वोट देने जाने के लिए। ये नीच किस्म का आदमी यहाँ पे रोड शो कर रहा है और दिखा रहा है कि कैसे मैं पूरे देश को सी बना रहा हूँ। सी फॉर समझ लीजिएगा, मैं कैसे इस पूरे भारत देश को सी बना रहा हूँ।
In this 50 seconds video, Aam Aadmi Party leader is clearly heard spewing venom against the Prime Minister. The video has ignited massive outrage.
All limits have been crossed. The Gujarat Aam Aadmi Party chief Gopal Italia has used the most objectionable language for the Prime Minister when he said that the Prime Minister is niche. This is not only an abuse to the Prime Minister and to the position of the Prime Minister and the constitutional position, but is also a casteist slur that is being made at the Prime Minister who comes from the OBC community. This kind of language only reflects the true character, chal, charitra, chehra of the Aam Aadmi Party.
The Prime Minister of the country has been targeted, but Kejriwal is silent, raising questions whether he endorses such crass insults. This isn't the first time that the niche insult has been hurled. In 2014, Priyanka Gandhi Vadra used the word. In 2017, Manishankar Iyer used it for the Prime Minister, repeated it in 2019, and now this Aam Aadmi Party leader. But the insult has always backfired. When Priyanka launched the niche attack, Congress was reduced to 44 seats in 2014. In 2017, when Manishankar Iyer called Prime Minister Modi niche, BJP got back into power for the 7th time. Now with the Aam Aadmi Party leader being the latest in the line, only the voters will give a certain and befitting reply. Bureau Report, Republic TV.
And here's a look at some international news now. North Korea fired 2 short-range ballistic missiles towards its eastern waters on Sunday in the latest of a recent barrage of weapon tests. This comes a day after it warned the redeployment of a U.S. aircraft carrier near the Korean peninsula was inflaming regional tensions. Anti-abortion supporters marched to Mexico City in protest, which has been called in favor of women. The organization claimed that at least 1 million people had attended similar marches in 31 states. It was the second consecutive year that the march in the country's capital had taken place. Brazilian presidential candidate Lula campaigned in Belo Horizonte, a city where he polled behind incumbent Jair Bolsonaro in the first round of the country's election. From the back of a vehicle, he paraded through a massive crowd of supporters. Colombian President Gustavo Petro has toured neighborhoods in San Andres Island that had been impacted by Hurricane Julia. It lashed the island after strengthening from a tropical storm on Saturday. A landslide fueled by flooding and days of torrential rain swept through the municipality in central Venezuela, leaving at least 22 people dead as it damaged mud, rocks and trees through neighborhoods. The official toll has now risen to 22 after the recovery of 20 bodies on Sunday. Now, Taiwan is marking its National Day under the looming shadow of Chinese threats. The Taiwanese president led the celebrations across the island. The celebrations included a military parade.
着杰出的完美表现，北一女越仪旗队多次荣获我国高中职。
现在是进行曲之王约翰·菲利普·苏萨。
民国中书记各界大会开始。
Time to once again action our destiny. Focus on Mission Superpower. Witness the India growth story. Republic Media Network brings you India's biggest economic summit.
We are the fastest growing economy. We have the potential to become a superpower. Last year, the economy was all geared up. Now it's time to set the goal in sight. Mission Superpower.
Steady amid recession. Steady amid inflation. Goal is global dominance. Witness the India growth story. Republic Media Network brings you India's biggest economic summit. 2021, the Indian economy was all geared up.
We are headed for greatness as a nation. We will be a superpower. If there's something that I want to see in our lifetime, it is to have our best living years as a citizen of a superpower.
Now there's a new goal, Mission Superpower. Witness the India growth story. Republic Media Network brings you India's biggest economic summit. Mission Superpower is the ultimate goal. There's no stopping the India story. Witness the India growth story. Republic Media Network brings you India's biggest economic summit. Time to once again action our destiny. Focus on Mission Superpower. Witness the India growth story. Republic Media Network brings you India's biggest economic summit. No longer on the fence anymore. A new India is empowering a paradigm shift. The mission now is global dominance. Republic Media Network brings you India's biggest economic summit.
We are the 5th largest economy. We are the fastest growing economy. Last year, the Indian economy was all geared up. Now it's time to set the goal in sight. It's Mission Superpower.
We are the 5th largest economy. We are the fastest growing major economy. Last year the economy was all geared up. Now is the time to set the goal in sight. Mission Superpower.
The world supermarket. The world is ours for the taking. Witness the India growth story. Republic Media Network brings you India's biggest economic summit. Last year, we were all geared up.
This network is proof that everything in India is greenfield. Is it time for the Republic Network to do a spectacular intervention in global digital news media or not? It's my passion project. So that is our consecration to making India a superpower.
Now India has a clear goal, Mission Superpower. Witness the India growth story. Republic Media Network brings you India's biggest economic summit. Time to once again action our destiny. Focus on Mission Superpower. Witness the India growth story. Republic Media Network brings you India's biggest economic summit.
And breaking news coming in the Morning Express, Boinpalli Abhishek has been arrested by the CBI in the Liquorgate scam. Boinpalli had incorporated Robin Distribution LLP. This is the second arrest made by CBI after Vijay Nair in Liquorgate. Boinpalli had incorporated the company along with Pillai. CBI in its FIR has alleged that Arun Ramchandra Pillai collected bribes from another accused, Samir Mahendru. And let's go across to our senior editor, Shavan, for more on this breaking story. Shavan, well, over to you for all the information on this breaking news. Major breakthrough in Liquorgate.
Well, in fact, this is the second big arrest that has been made by the Central Bureau of Investigation. We are being told that Boinpalli Abhishek has been arrested in the Liquorgate. In fact, Boinpalli Abhishek was called in for questioning by the Central Bureau of Investigation in the national capital. This was late last evening is what we are being told. Finally, he has now been placed under arrest. Now, as per the Central Bureau of Investigation, they are basically saying that he has been arrested for his role in the alleged irregularities in framing and implementation of the excise policy. He is likely to be produced before the court today. Now, the connection that is basically emerging at this point in time is the fact that along with another accused in this particular case, Boinpalli Abhishek had basically incorporated a company called Robin Distributions LLP, and this company was incorporated back in July. It was back in July, is what we're being told, where the searches were also being carried out by the Central Bureau of Investigation along with the Enforcement Directorate. And the company was incorporated on 12th of July 2022. This was along with Arun Ramachandra Pillai. He, along with Boinpalli Abhishek, had incorporated this company, and the address of this Robin Distribution LLP in Sikandrabad is the same of a beauty salon where the searches were carried out by the Enforcement Directorate. So Robin Distilleries and Robin Distribution LLP have the same email ID, that is of Arun Chandra Pillai. Now, if you simply go by the FIR that was registered by the Central Bureau of Investigation, Arun Ramachandra Pillai collected the bribes from another accused, Sabir Mahendru. Remember, Sabir Mahendru, who is the managing director of Indo Spirit, has also been arrested by the Enforcement Directorate. But they say that Pillai was collecting the money and was passing it on to the other accused. Now, the CBI has filed this case against Manish Sisodia and others, including Pillai, for committing financial irregularities in executing the new liquor policies. Now, what's important to point out here, Rukma, is the fact that this is yet another big arrest. Whether at all there are any political connections, that is not known as yet. But what we can certainly say is that with the focus now basically shifting towards down south, where Enforcement Directorate and the CBI were basically carrying out simultaneous searches, it turns out that this happens to be the big arrest that has now been made from down south in Liquor Gate.
So far, Shavan, there are three major names that have emerged now in this entire scam, as also two companies. So what is the procedure to be followed? The allegation is about having taken bribes and passed the bribes on. That's what we understand. That's what the layman understands so far. But what is the procedure now?
Well, as far as the procedure is concerned, it's very simple, Rukman. They're going to be produced before the court, but that's not the focus right now, them being produced in the court. What is important for the Central Bureau of Investigation right now is to basically collect as much details as they can before he's produced in the court, so that at least in the remand they can actually make a mention of the progress that they have made. But what's important to focus right now is that when we're talking about the first big arrest from down south, it's only because, remember, there are political links that have emerged so far. Political parties down south have already rejected the claims that have been made, because, remember, the BJP had made some direct allegations against political parties down south. And it turns out that the political party in concern had essentially rejected the claims that were made by the Bharatiya Janata Party when multiple press conferences were done. Allegations were basically leveled, saying that these political parties were also instrumental in framing the excise policy, and this excise policy was drafted in such a manner that it was only benefiting a section. It was only benefiting the large players. And the smaller players were basically eliminated from the entire process. But what's important to point out here once again is the fact that so far, after of the 15 accused that have been named in the FIR, 2 arrests have been made by the Central Bureau of Investigation and 1 arrest has been made by the Enforcement Directorate. The first big arrest that was made by the Central Bureau of Investigation was that of Vijay Nair. Remember, he's considered to be the communication strategist for the Aam Aadmi Party. And now the CBI has arrested Boinpalli Abhishek, who happens to be, remember, the major link for down south. As far as the Enforcement Directorate is concerned, they have only made 1 arrest so far, that is of Samir Mahendru. Samir Mahendru happens to be connected to a company called Indo Spirits. Remember, this is a company which has also come under the scanner of the CBI as well as the Enforcement Directorate, because they somewhere down the line suspect that both these accused, they were instrumental in drafting this particular excise policy. And the CBI has also made the sensational allegation in its FIR that there are about 3 to 4 people who are considered to be extremely close to the Deputy Chief Minister, Manish Sisodia, who've played a very important role in framing the excise policy, and also the fact that they were the go-to persons for the excise policy, and in fact they were also responsible on passing on the bribes to the bureaucrats.
Right. So bribes to bureaucrats, that's the allegation. And the 3 names that are coming up are Boinpalli Abhishek and as also Arun Ramchandra Pillai, and also, well, the other accused, Vijay Nair in Liquorgate, and Shawan telling us, well, Shawan, from what we can gather right now, the questioning of the 3 main names by the CBI could lead to disclosures that could actually pin the culprits with the details that could emerge. How cooperative have they been so far?
Well, as far as Boinpalli Abhishek is considered, it turns out that he was called in for questioning by the CBI late last evening. And it was only later that he was placed under arrest when he wasn't really cooperating. But it turns out that there is a political link. There is a political link that is basically emerging, which the CBI is also looking at. But at this point in time, that's all that we can say, because the latest details that I'm also getting in, Rukma, as I'm speaking, is that he is an associate of Arun Ramchandra Pillai, and he co-owns Robin Distribution LLP. And this Robin Distribution LLP has been under the scanner of the Enforcement Directorate, because during the investigation, they have basically come across a particular company which was basically benefiting from the excise policy, and the money routing was also taking place through this very company, which has now come under the scanner. So there are links that are emerging right now, which is exactly what the CBI, just like a jigsaw puzzle, is now trying to put together. Because with the second big arrest that has been made, what is amply clear, Rukma, is that the ambit of the investigation is only widening. Earlier, for the CBI, it was primarily looking at only at the national capital, not really going beyond that. Unlike the Central Bureau of Investigation, because in the Central Bureau of Investigation, what was important, they were unlike the Enforcement Directorate, the Enforcement Directorate was looking at states like Punjab as well as Telangana. But CBI also, it seems right now, Rukma, is also looking at these angles.
Right, Shawan, well, stay with us. We'll be coming back to you. But joining us now is our correspondent, Aneri Shah. Aneri Shah, a third arrest made in the Liquorgate scam. Boinpalli Abhishek has been picked up by the CBI. As Shawan just said, our senior editor, this really widens the ambit of the investigation. It's over to you to give us what information you have regarding this latest arrest.
Well, that's right, Rukma. This is one big arrest which has been made from the south state, where we see that since past few days we have been seeing there are many raids which have been conducted by the CBI and Enforcement Directorate in various locations in the city of Hyderabad, and also at various districts in Telangana also. Back then, we had seen how there were raids which were conducted 3 times. Till now, there were raids which were conducted 3 times. But now this one big arrest of Abhishek Boinpalli, which has been done by the CBI. This is one such arrest which has been made from the south state, where we see that he also is one of the accused in the Liquorgate Gate scam, but also not to forget, he has been running a company called Robin Distributions LLP, where we see that this is where we have been seeing that Enforcement Directorate was also looking into various angles of this case, and now we see that first it was only up to Delhi, but then later on the connections went on bigger and bigger, and so now we see that one arrest which has been made of Bonpally Abhishek by the CBI into this matter is one a big arrest. As we have been seeing, there could be further political links into this matter, and also there could be more arrests in future also, but we are yet to know what exactly is this all about, because Liquorgate scam has been going bigger day by day, and Bonpally Abhishek, who has now been arrested by the CBI, will have to see what angles they look into, because he is one of the persons who had incorporated Robin Distributions LLP, and also what we have learned is that CBI in its FIR had alleged that Arun Ramchandar Pillai had collected bribes, and also at the same time we see that from another accused, that is Samir Mahendru, Pillai had collected bribes from another accused, Samir Mahendru, who is also one of the main accused in this Liquorgate scam. So definitely this is going to get bigger. There could be a possible political links, but we are yet to get any sort of confirmation on that. But yes, as of now, first information on Republic TV, and a big development where we see that Bonpally Abhishek has now been arrested.
Well, many thanks, Aneri, and many thanks, Shavan, as well, for your insights, and Aneri for all that information. You keep your eyes on that story. We'll be back with you throughout the day for more. So another big development in the Liquorgate scam.
Steady amid recession. Steady amid inflation. Goal is global dominance. Witness the India growth story. Republic Media Network brings you India's biggest economic summit. 2021, the Indian economy was all geared up.
We are headed for greatness as a nation. We will be a superpower. If there's something that I want to see in our lifetime, it is to have our best living years as a citizen of a superpower.
Now there's a new goal, Mission Superpower. Witness the India growth story. Republic Media Network brings you India's biggest economic summit. Mission Superpower is the ultimate goal. There's no stopping the India story. Witness the India growth story. Republic Media Network brings you India's biggest economic summit. Time to once again action our destiny. Focus on Mission Superpower. Witness the India growth story. Republic Media Network brings you India's biggest economic summit. No longer on the fence anymore. A new India is empowering a paradigm shift. The mission now is global dominance. Republic Media Network brings you India's biggest economic summit.
We are the fifth largest economy. We are the fastest growing economy. Last year, the Indian economy was all geared up. Now it's time to set the goal in sight. It's Mission Superpower.
We are the fifth largest economy. We are the fastest growing major economy. Last year the economy was all geared up. Now is the time to set the goal in sight. Mission Superpower.
The world supermarket. World is ours for the taking. Witness the India growth story. Republic Media Network brings you India's biggest economic summit. Last year, we were all geared up.
This network is proof that everything in India is greenfield. Is it time for the Republic?
Let's take a look at some sports news now. Erik ten Hag, Manchester United head coach, congratulates Cristiano Ronaldo after his 700th club career goal sealed a 2-1 win over Everton for Man United. This lifts the Red Devils up to 5th in the English Premiership table. Barcelona edges Celta Vigo 1-0 for its 7th straight victory in the competition, regaining first place and restoring some confidence going into a decisive Champions League game against Inter Milan. Minnesota United books place in MLS Cup playoffs for the 4th consecutive year after a 2-0 win over Vancouver Whitecaps on Sunday. Frank opened the scoring on 17 minutes before substitute Jonathan Gonzalez wrapped up the points with 13 minutes to go. Minnesota will now play FC Dallas in the knockout stages.
除了刚刚看到举高校非常精彩的演出之外，接下来我们同样也要欢迎来自日本的日华议员恳谈会，也就是日本国会跨党派议员联盟。
Mission Superpower is the ultimate goal. There's no stopping the India story. Witness the India growth story. Republic Media Network brings you India's biggest economic summit. Time to once again action our destiny. Focus on Mission Superpower. Witness the India growth story. Republic Media Network brings you India's biggest economic summit. No longer on the fence anymore. A new India is empowering a paradigm shift. The mission now is global dominance. Republic Media Network brings you India's biggest economic summit.
We are the 5th largest economy. We are the fastest growing economy. Last year, the Indian economy was all geared up. Now it's time to set the goal in sight. It's Mission Superpower.
We are the 5th largest economy. We are the fastest growing major economy. Last year the economy was all geared up. Now is the time to set the goal in sight. Mission Superpower.
The world supermarket. World is ours for the taking. Witness the India growth story. Republic Media Network brings you India's biggest economic summit. Last year, we were all geared up.
This network is proof that everything in India is greenfield. Is it time for the Republic Network to do a spectacular intervention in global digital news media or not? It's my passion project. So that is our consecration to making India a superpower.
Now India has a clear goal, Mission Superpower. Witness the India growth story. Republic Media Network brings you India's biggest economic summit. Time to once again action our destiny. Focus on Mission Superpower. Witness the India growth story. Republic Media Network brings you India's biggest economic summit.
We are the fastest growing economy. We have the potential to become a superpower. Last year, the economy was all geared up. Now it's time to set the goal in sight. Mission Superpower.
Steady amid recession. Steady amid inflation. Goal is global dominance. Witness the India growth story.
More breaking news on Liquorgate with updates and updates coming in. Robin Distribution was a paper company. It has been discovered used to account for the commissions from the liquor firms benefited from the liquor policy in Delhi. Arun Pillai collects the commission and routes it through this firm. And so getting you more updates in Liquorgate. Robin Distribution was a paper company used to account for the commissions from the liquor firms benefited from the liquor policy. Arun Pillai collected the commission and routed it through this firm. That's Robin Distribution. And Boinpalli Abhishek, the latest arrested in the Liquorgate scam, the third arrest in the Liquorgate scam, was partnered with Arun Ramchandra Pillai.
No longer on the fence anymore. A new India is empowering a paradigm shift. The mission now is global dominance. Republic Media Network brings you India's biggest economic summit.
We are the fifth largest economy. We are the fastest growing economy. Last year, the Indian economy was all geared up. Now it's time to set the goal in sight. It's Mission Superpower.
We are the fifth largest economy. We are the fastest growing major economy. Last year, the economy was all geared up. Now is the time to set the goal in sight. Mission Superpower.
The world supermarket. The world is ours for the taking. Witness the India growth story. Republic Media Network brings you India's biggest economic summit. Last year, we were all geared up.
This network is proof that everything in India is greenfield. Is it time for the Republic Network to do a spectacular intervention in global digital news media or not? It's my passion project. So that is our consecration to making India a superpower.
Now India has a clear goal, Mission Superpower. Witness the India growth story. Republic Media Network brings you India's biggest economic summit. Time to once again action our destiny. Focus on Mission Superpower. Witness the India growth story. Republic Media Network brings you India's biggest economic summit.
We are the fastest growing economy. We have the potential to become a superpower. Last year, the economy was all geared up. Now it's time to set the goal in sight. Mission Superpower.
Steady amid recession. Steady amid inflation. Goal is global dominance. Witness the India growth story. Republic Media Network brings you India's biggest economic summit. 2021, the Indian economy was all geared up.
We are headed for greatness as a nation. We will be a superpower. If there's something that I want to see in our lifetime, it is to have our best living years as a citizen of a superpower.
Now there's a new goal, Mission Superpower. Witness the India growth story. Republic Media Network brings you India's biggest economic summit. Mission Superpower is the ultimate goal. There's no stopping the India story.
Now, news just coming in, of course, is around the big arrest that has been made by the CBI. The CBI, of course, a short while ago arrested Boinpalli Abhishek. He is associated with a company known as Robin Distribution. Not given to understand is that Robin Distribution was just a proxy company that was used to account for the commissions from liquor firms that benefited from the Delhi government's liquor policy. Now, we are given to understand that the CBI essentially has been working around and identifying the modus operandi of how this works. So what we are learning is that Arun Pillai, also the co-owner of Robin Distribution, as well as Boinpalli Abhishek, were both involved in this. Piyush Ori is joining us and he has more details on this. Now, Piyush, give us more details in terms of the modus operandi of how this really worked. We are given to understand that Robin Distribution was just a company that was formed to be able to siphon off the monies.
So yes, that's right. And this comes after the massive raids that were conducted by CBI and Enforcement Directorate in the liquor scam. Now, what we've been told is that this company, known as Robin Distribution, was used for siphoning off the money, and all this firm was used for generating the proceeds of crime and siphoning off. So yes, the arrest in this case by the investigative agencies is very crucial for finding out those people who were involved in the alleged money laundering in the case of Delhi liquor scam, and also those people who were involved in generation of proceeds of crime and then subsequently laundering it to the required people and agencies. So yes, this arrest by the CBI is very crucial. Back to you in the studio.
All right, let's bring in Aneri right now. She's reporting from Hyderabad on this. Aneri, now we're given to understand that this particular arrest, that is of Boinpalli Abhishek, is related to all the raids that the ED as well as the CBI were conducting across Hyderabad. So give us more details in terms of the charges that they face.
Well, that's right, Nupur. In this arrest of Boinpalli Abhishek from Telangana has been one of the crucial ones because this is not the first time that we have been seeing raids being conducted. Earlier also there were raids multiple raids which were conducted at various locations in connection with the liquor gate scam. And also now this arrest of Boinpalli Abhishek is one of the important ones because we also see that there could be some political links to this liquor gate scam where we have been seeing that the Enforcement Directorate have been looking into various angles into this. Earlier, there were raids which were only limited till the national capital, but later on, as the links emerged, we see that there were raids which were conducted here in Hyderabad and at various locations across the state of Telangana also. But now a big development coming in the liquor gate scam where we see that Boinpalli Abhishek has now been arrested, and also at the same time we have been seeing how he used to run a company called Robin Distributions LLP, which was incorporated by him, and also his partner Ramchandra Pillai is one of the main is also accused in the FIR in this liquor gate scam. So further investigation would reveal that what could be next, because this arrest is one of the crucial ones into this liquor gate scam where we have been seeing that a firm was used to route the commission and also how they used to route the money transactions also. All these angles will be definitely probed by the Enforcement Directorate and also other agencies. But yes, one big arrest in the liquor gate scam, that's the Boinpalli Abhishek. Well, whether there will be a political angle or political link to it also remains to be seen, because there were few allegations which were being made by the Bharatiya Janata Party into this matter. But we also have to wait and watch how and what links emerge into this liquor gate scam.
Oh yes, absolutely. Aneri bringing us those details. Now, Aneri, what we are given to understand essentially is the fact that bribes that were given by people like Sameer Mahindru and others were actually routed through these people and put into a separate company which was known as Robin Distribution. It was a proxy. It existed in name only. And I'm going to go across to Piyush Ori on this one. Piyush, explain to us how this actually worked. So what we understand, preliminary information that we are getting is that the CBI, as part its FIR, says that Arun Ramachandran Pillai actually was the person who was collecting these bribes along with his accomplice, which was Boinpalli Abhishek, and thereafter these bribes were being routed through a company that was known as Robin Distributors. These bribes were essentially given either by distribution companies of liquor or by big liquor companies.
So definitely, Nupur, this comes at the backdrop of the arrests that have been made by CBI and ED in the Delhi liquor scam. These people involved Vijay Nair and also Sameer Mahindru. Now, their interrogation led the investigative agencies to know that how actually the proceeds of crime were generated and how actually this proceeds of crime then was routed through the company known as Robin Distribution, of which now the arrests have been made. So yes, as Aneri said, that it is now going to be very interesting to watch that what actually now is going to be the future course of action that is going to be taken by the investigative agencies in this Delhi excise liquor scam that continues to grow bigger and continues to explode with each passing day. What you can also understand now is that there are several business partners that are involved. There are several people who have been involved in the money laundering case, in the routing of illegal money, and also now there can be a very serious chance of several politicians also involved. So yes, it is now going to be very interesting to see of how many more can of worms are going to be unearthed with this arrest. So far, what we have been now known is that there have been an arrest of people who are actually involved in the routing of illegal money, who are actually involved in the money laundering. So what is going to be the future of courts of action? It is going to be interesting to watch in the coming days. Yes, back to in the studio.
All right, absolutely. Let me go back to Aneri on this one. Now, Aneri, it's going to be extremely interesting to watch out for whether there are any political connections, because there has been talk of people who were close to the TRS, now of course the BRS, who were perhaps involved in this.
That's right, Nupur. There are allegations which have been raised by the BJP into this matter that there could be a political link, but we are yet to get any sort of confirmation. And also, until we get any sort of confirmation, we would wait till that. And also, well, definitely, this is one of the big arrests which has been made by the Enforcement Directorate and the CBI into this matter of Boinpalli Abhishek, who is one who had incorporated a company named Robin Distribution LLP, and this company was used to intrude the commission. And also now various angles into this matter will also be looked into.
All right, Aneri as well as Piyush joining us live on this one. Thank you very much for bringing us all those updates. Well, on to Maharashtra now, where Republic TV is getting inside details of Maharashtra Chief Minister Eknath Shinde's key meeting on symbols and a name for the party for his faction. Now, sources have told us that in this meeting, the party's executive body was given complete authority to finalize the party's election symbol and the name of the party. Shinde faction will convey their official version regarding the symbol and the party name by writing a letter to the Election Commission of India. Now, in this meeting, possible symbols to be considered are a mace, a triumph or a sword. Also, the Shiv Sena, Prabodhankar Thackeray and Shiv Sena Balasaheb Thackeray were the names that were considered. Let's go across to Alisha, who's reporting on this, and she has more details. So, Alisha, good morning, and tell us more in terms of what are we expecting. This, of course, is the Eknath Shinde camp, which is likely to put forward their names and their possible symbols. All right, I think we're having some trouble connecting with Alisha over there. We'll just go back to her in a bit. But what we know so far is that there is an executive body that is going to be meeting to decide on these. Let's quickly listen into a reaction, I think, that we're getting to this.
It were delaying practices so that their symbol should be freeze and that should not come to us. That was their strategy. And they are trying to create a sympathy for them, which is absolutely wrong.
Shiv Sena, Uddhav Thackeray faction has given the symbol. What is your reaction? Uddhav Thackeray faction has given the symbol.
That means that they were prepared for this. They have not consulted anybody. 8 o'clock the result came. Morning their letter was ready. Whereas we are the real claimants of bow and arrow, because we are the real Shiv Sena. That we were hurt the most. We have not yet given our letter to the Election Commission, which symbol we want. But our honorable party leader, Eknath Shinde, he has called for the meeting of all MLAs, all MPs, all netas, all upanetas, because he consults everybody. We have that democratic pattern within the party, and that's why we are the real Shiv Sena. And tomorrow they will submit whatever is decided in the party.
So what about when you are submitting the symbol?
Maybe tomorrow morning after consulting everybody, Eknath, because that is mandatory. It is not that we cannot submit, because it is the order given by the Honorable Election Commission, which is binding on everybody. So whatever we think, it is immaterial. We are bound to give another symbol and name of the party faction.
किशोरी पद्मकर ने बयान दिया है जिसमें कहा है कि अपने माँ को लेकर उसको मतलब क्या देखिए।
देखिए, ये जो लैंग्वेज है वो समस्त जो स्त्री वर्ग है उनके अपमान करने वाली लैंग्वेज है। अगर बाबा साहेब होते तो ये लैंग्वेज वो कभी भी टॉलरेट नहीं करते, और इसीलिए देखिए कि वो माइनॉरिटी में रह गया। सब लोग जिनकी सोच ऐसी है वो माइनॉरिटी में रह गए। और ये एक स्ट्रैटेजी थी उद्धव जी के गुट की कि वो डिले करें ताकि फ्रीज हो जाए, और फ्रीज होने की वजह से उनको सिंपैथी मिले। देखिए, हमने कुछ भी डिले नहीं किया। हर वक्त जब हमें टाइम दिया गया था उस वक्त पे शिंदे साहब ने अपना एफिडेविट दे दिया, सब प्रूफ्स दे दिए। तो हमारे साथ यहाँ से कोई भी पेंडिंग नहीं है। पेंडिंग है तो उनकी तरफ से पेंडिंग है, इसीलिए टेम्पररी फ्रीज हो गया है। बाद में तो जिसकी मेजॉरिटी होंगी उनको सिंबल मिल जाएगा। वो तो वो रेडी ही थे ना, उनकी स्ट्रैटेजी ही थी, इसलिए उनके पास सब रेडी था। नाम भी रेडी थे, उनको मालूम था कि हम लोग बाबा साहब के विचारों पे चलते हैं, तो उन्होंने लिख दिया शिवसेना बाबा साहब, और दूसरा लिख दिया और तीसरा लिख दिया। ऐसे नहीं होता है ना, वो तो बाबा साहब के विचारों पे जब चलेंगे तो ही वो बाबा साहब का नाम यूज कर सकते हैं।
And Alicia is now bringing us details from Mumbai on this. Alicia, give us more information in terms of what are the possible symbols as well as the party names that the Eknath Shinde camp is considering now.
Well, Nupur, there was a late night meeting that happened in Varsha Bungalow, which is an official bungalow of a chief minister, where all the ministers, MP, MLAs and the senior Sena leaders from the Shinde camp were present in the meeting. The meeting which lasted for 2 hours at least, where the decision over the symbols, the possibly which has been taken, that is a mace, Trump, and the third one is being read as a squad. So these are the 3 possible symbols that has been considering by Eknath Shinde camp, and that is something going to be put forward before the Election Commission of India, because that's a legal team where they are going to prepare the list of names and the symbols name, because as we heard Deepak Kesarkar, who is a cabinet minister and the spokesperson from the Shinde faction, who clearly mentioned that they don't have an option, because it is something in ECI has given a clear direction so that they have to choose the symbol, the new symbol, and the name of the party as well for the Andheri East bypoll elections. So here when the Uddhav Thackeray itself has made it very clear, and the party name and the symbol that has already been given to the Election Commission, but now even the decision is some of the taken by Eknath Shinde as well, and the official letter is going to be conveyed to the ECI.
All right, now even as this happens, Alicia, we are told that Uddhav Thackeray has of course chosen his symbol, and there's been a scathing editorial that's come out in the Samna today as well. So tell us more about that as well.
Well, yes, we know that Uddhav camp via Shiv Sena mouthpiece Samna has clearly made an attack on the Chief Minister Eknath Shinde, clearly calling him Afzal Khan, who want to destroy Bayasab ideology, Bayasab party is what have been mentioned. But this is something, an attack that we have been seeing since yesterday. Even while addressing the state where Uddhav Thackeray had clearly made it point out that they are nothing but a four-head Ravan, that they want to destroy the party, and what has been done by the ECI as well is something really not to the constitution, because they are the real Shiv Sena, and even if they were betrayed, they left the party and joined and made it a government in the state of Maharashtra. So they did not consider as the Shiv Sena, because we are the real Shiv Sena. But when it comes to the final decision over the symbol and the party, because this is something, an interim order that has been given by Election Commission, but when it comes to the hearing, when it comes to the party and the symbol, the ECI will only look after the majority, and that is what exactly mentioned even earlier by the ECI when till the time the petition that has reached to the Supreme Court. But earlier, before, the ECI has also cleared it that they are going to look into the majority at a certain point, where Eknath Shinde in his petition that was given to Election Commission clearly mentioned about the majority, that he has the 40 MLAs, 12 MP, also 11 district chief. So that is also there are the primary membership from the Shiv Sena party. So that has all been mentioned in the petition as well as from the Uddhav Thackeray itself. Well, today is the hearing in the Election Commission, and moreover the decision over the symbol, what symbol that will be given to Uddhav Thackeray faction and as well as to the Eknath Shinde faction, because right after that it is something will be the Supreme Court, because we heard from both the faction which has clearly mentioned that the option that has been given to to Election Commission is something we expect that we get the allotment from the same options of the symbol and the party name. If that doesn't happen, so they will move to the Supreme Court.
All right, Alicia bringing us all the details of both camps of the Shiv Sena. Thank you very much for joining us with all those details. So we are expecting, of course, the Eknath Shinde camp also perhaps to submit their letter today to the Election Commission with their choices. And here's a quick look at what else is making news this morning. Prime Minister Modi is on a 3-day visit to Gujarat, where he's all set to launch a slew of projects worth about 14,000 crore rupees. Prime Minister will also address gatherings ahead of the state assembly elections that are due later this year. West Bengal's leader of opposition, Shubhendu Adhikari, has written to the Union Home Minister Amit Shah and the West Bengal governor demanding urgent deployment of central forces in the wake of Mominpur violence. Amid Prime Minister Narendra Modi's Gujarat visit, the Aam Aadmi Party leader Gopal Italia has sparked a fresh controversy. In a viral video, he has used derogatory language against the Prime Minister. This has triggered a major political storm between the BJP and the Aam Aadmi Party. After the EC froze the Shiv Sena's bow and arrow symbol, the fight for the Sena symbol now continues. After a day of hectic negotiations, the Shinde faction will be submitting a symbol option to the Election Commission today. Addressing the India-Australia joint briefing, External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar discussed India's stand on several issues. Speaking on India's relationship with Australia, the External Affairs Minister said both countries believe in free water navigation. Meanwhile, he also spoke on Khalistan and the need to control terrorism.
As Minister Wong said, we've had really a very, very useful, very productive, very comfortable discussion today. The Khalistani issue that you have raised, from time to time, we have engaged the Canadian government. I have myself engaged my counterpart.
In a major breakthrough, days after gangster Deepak Tinu escaped from police custody in Punjab's Mansa, his alleged accomplice was nabbed by a team of the Punjab police from Mumbai airport. Days after a religious conversion tape sparked around, Delhi Minister Rajendra Pal Gautam has resigned from his post. Reacting to the incident, the BJP took a jibe at the Aam Aadmi parties, sparking big political fight. In a tragic incident, a building collapsed near Lahori Gate in the national capital. The incident claimed the life of a 4-year-old, leaving at least 10 people injured. Meanwhile, all the injured have been shifted to hospital for immediate medical treatment.
जिसमें एक ग्राउंड फ्लोर, एक मेज़नाइन फ्लोर और एक फर्स्ट फ्लोर, तो 2 मंजिला इमारत हम कह सकते हैं। तो इस इमारत में बारिश की वजह से पुरानी बिल्डिंग थी, काफ़ी पुरानी थी। आई कैन नॉट असर्टन कितनी पुरानी है, उसका जो है वो स्टेबिलिटी ख़राब हो गई, बिल्डिंग गिर गई। इसमें कई लोगों को चोट आई है, 10 लोग इसमें LNJP में हमने एडमिट किए हैं। उसमें से 1 पर्सन इज़ ब्रॉट डेड, 2 फेटल हो गया। एक बच्ची है 4 साल की खुशी, तो उसकी इसमें जान चली गई है। अभी हम लोगों का रेस्क्यू ऑपरेशन चल रहा है। NDRF की टीम्स 5 टीमें मौके पे हैं और हम लोग उनको पूरा सपोर्ट कर रहे हैं। कोशिश कर रहे हैं कि जल्दी से जल्दी मलबा हटाया जाए और अगर कोई और भी अगर हो सकता है दबा हुआ हो तो उसकी हम लोग जान बचा पाएं।
Heavy rains lashed over a dozen districts in Uttar Pradesh, including the capital city. At least 9 people lost their lives as the state continues to face a heavy downpour. Meanwhile, authorities have ordered schools to remain shut till the 12th of October. Russian President Vladimir Putin will be chairing his Security Council meeting today. The meeting comes at a time when Russian forces have suffered military losses in Ukraine. Meanwhile, the war between Ukraine and Russia has now entered its 229th day and continues to escalate. Now, 3 people, including a 4-year-old child, were killed and 4 are still believed to be trapped after the building collapse in Delhi's Lahori Gate. 10 people have been injured in this collapse. The fire department says that they got a call about the incident at about 7:30 p.m. While it was still raining, fire trucks were rushed to the site of the building collapse in the Old Delhi area. Unfortunately, 3 people have now succumbed to their injuries.
का डेड बॉडी और 9 इंजर्ड जो है पहले निकाले जा सके। उसके बाद हमारी टीम द्वारा जो है 2 और जो है निकाली गई है। 2 बॉडी निकाली गई। अब वो मेडिकल टीम आपको बताएगी कि उसका क्या स्टेटस है। तो और अभी मतलब यहाँ मूवमेंट थी ना अलग नहीं, ये हम लोग नहीं बता सकते ना, ये आपको मेडिकल टीम बताएगी कि क्या है नहीं है। वो यहाँ सिविल एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन की जो मेडिकल टीम होगी वो आपको क्लियर करेगी। बस हम लोगों का जो काम था वहाँ से एक्सट्रिकेट करना, हम लोगों ने वहाँ से निकाला। क्या और भी कोई बॉडी अंदर है? 2 सस्पेक्टेड थे, 2 तो अभी हो गए हैं और देखते हैं आगे, जब तक पूरा मलबा हट नहीं जाता तब तक कुछ नहीं कहा जाता।
मेरा घर के ऊपर पूरी बिल्डिंग गिरी है आके, उसके अंदर मेरा सारा सामान दब गया, मेरा बहुत ज्यादा नुकसान है, जिसको मैं गरीब आदमी कहाँ से करूँगा। सारा मेरा दरवाजा वगैरह तोड़ दिया, अंदर की सारे मतलब हर चीज टूट गई, जो मूर्ति सूर्ति लगी हुई थी अंदर सब तोड़ दी है। एक मेरा लड़का फंसा था, मैंने किवाड़ तोड़ के परली साइड से निकाल लिया उसको। बिल्डिंग हमारे सामने गिरी है, ये हम कमरे में अंदर थे, ये एकदम धड़ जैसे ऊपर से आके गिरी है।
Well, this collapse was reported last evening at Delhi's Lahori Gate area. 10 people are injured in this accident. Unfortunately, 3 people, including a 4-year-old child, were killed. We are given to understand that authorities are still at the site trying to clear the debris in the area. This is the Lahori Gate area of Old Delhi. Anuj has more details on what's happening. Anuj, we are given to understand that some amount of rescue work is still carrying on, and there are fears that there could be people who are still trapped under the debris.
Well, that's something what we have been told, that the rescue operation is still going on, and what has been reported, that this was reported last evening from the Lahori Gate area of the national capital, where 3 people, including one child, have lost their lives in the incident, and more rescue operation is going on at this point in time. And this was the call which was received by the fire department officers, and they received the call at around 7:30 p.m. last evening, and the rescue operation is still going on. But the 4 people, including a child, have lost their life. Still, this has been stated that some people are said to be, they are still the building which has been collapsed, and the rescue operation, as we do understand, is going on. But this is the
All right. So as Anuj is pointing out, of course, 3 people have unfortunately lost their lives in that building collapse. Rescue workers are still going through the debris. Now, Taiwan has marked its National Day under looming shadow of the Chinese threat. The Taiwanese president led celebrations across the island. Celebrations included a military parade. We bring you visuals.
有着杰出的完美表现，北一女越仪旗队多次荣获我国高中职。
现在是进行曲之王约翰·菲利普·苏萨。
民国中书记各界大会开始。
We are the 5th largest economy. We are the fastest growing major economy. Last year the economy was all geared up. Now is the time to set the goal in sight. Mission Superpower.
The world supermarket. The world is ours for the taking. Witness the India growth story. Republic Media Network brings you India's biggest economic summit. Last year, we were all geared up.
This network is proof that everything in India is greenfield. Is it time for the Republic Network to do a spectacular intervention in global digital news media or not? It's my passion project. So that is our consecration to making India a superpower.
Now India has a clear goal, Mission Superpower. Witness the India growth story. Republic Media Network brings you India's biggest economic summit. Time to once again action our destiny. Focus on mission Superpower. Witness the India growth story. Republic Media Network brings you India's biggest economic summit.
We are the fastest growing economy. We have the potential to become a superpower. Last year, the economy was all geared up. Now it's time to set the goal in sight. Mission Superpower.
Steady amid recession. Steady amid inflation. Goal is global dominance. Witness the India growth story. Republic Media Network brings you India's biggest economic summit. 2021, the Indian economy was all geared up.
We are headed for greatness as a nation. We will be a superpower. If there's something that I want to see in our lifetime, it is to have our best living years as a citizen of a superpower.
Now there's a new goal, Mission Superpower. Witness the India growth story. Republic Media Network brings you India's biggest economic summit. Mission Superpower is the ultimate goal. There's no stopping the India story. Witness the India growth story. Republic Media Network brings you India's biggest economic summit. Time to once again action our destiny. Focus on Mission Superpower. Witness the India growth story. Republic Media Network brings you India's biggest economic summit. No longer on the fence anymore. A new India is empowering a paradigm shift. The mission now is global dominance. Republic Media Network brings you India's biggest economic summit.
We are the fifth largest economy. We are the fastest growing economy. Last year, the Indian economy was all geared up. Now it's time to set the goal in sight. It's Mission Superpower.
Tragic accident that had taken place in Nashik, that at least 11 passengers as of now have lost their lives.
Fire that has been reported on 12th floor of ground plus 12th floor residential building in Chembur.
The Air Force is celebrating the 90th IFJ.
A very good morning. Thanks for tuning into Republic TV. I'm Nivedna Prabhu. You're watching Live and Breaking. Let's take a quick look at what's making headlines at 9:30. CBI news tightens. Liquorgate Boinpalli Abhishek is now under arrest. Boinpalli Abhishek arrested in the Liquorgate. CBI alleges his partner collected bribes. After a power-packed Day 1, Prime Minister Modi set to kick off Day 2, inauguration of mega projects lined up. AAP leader stokes fresh row, insults Prime Minister Modi, calls him Neech. Shinde versus Uddhav for Bala Saheb's legacy. Shinde faction to submit symbol option to Election Commission today. Forces intensify crackdown on terror. 2 terrorists gunned down in Anantnag encounter. Breaking news coming in after AAP Gujarat Chief Gopal Italia hurled insults at Prime Minister Modi. BJP has now hit out at the Aam Aadmi Party, saying that the Aam Aadmi Party must have some control over their language. But such insults won't affect the Prime Minister. Now remember that the Aam Aadmi Party Gujarat Chief Gopal Italia had hurled insults at Prime Minister Modi in those particular videos. So now the BJP of course has reacted and has hit out at the Aam Aadmi Party, saying that they must have control over the language. But such insults on the other hand will not affect the Prime Minister. We also have a reaction coming in from BJP's Kavinder Gupta. Let's listen in to what he had to say.
2014 से लेकर के कांग्रेस के लोग भी जब इस प्रकार की बातें हमेशा से करते रहे हैं। आज कांग्रेस किस स्थान पर है? प्रधानमंत्री के कद को इस चीज़ से कोई फ़र्क नहीं पड़ता, लेकिन इन लोगों को ज़रूर फ़र्क पड़ेगा जो इस प्रकार की भाषा का प्रयोग करते हैं। राजनीति में भाषा का संयम होना बहुत ज़रूरी है और मुझे लगता है कि इस प्रकार की बात करके उन्होंने वो सभी दलित समाज को या पिछड़े हुए समाज को एक गाली दी है जो इनको आने वाले समय में इनके लिए अच्छा नहीं होगा।
Was BJP's Kavinder Gupta reacting about this entire incident that has panned out. Now remember, Gopal Italia in those particular videos did hurl insults at Prime Minister Modi, now which has of course received flack, but BJP's Kavinder Gupta stating that ultimately it will not affect the Prime Minister but people who are involved in such incidents, who are hurling such kind of statements against the Prime Minister. But for more information on this, we're joined in by Priyanka, our principal correspondent, to give us the latest about reactions also coming in. Priyanka, in terms of course, reactions, now the BJP has clearly hit out at the Aam Aadmi Party, stating number one, like BJP's Kavinder Gupta has also mentioned, that ultimately it does not affect the Prime Minister, but also people in question who are doing this. He also hit out at people who've been doing this for years now, despite the political parties where they come from. So what is the latest we have in terms of this particular episode, if you could tell us?
Well, Nivedana, we have seen time and time again that these kind of statements have been made by the opposition leader, then be it the Congress party as well. In 2017, we had the Manishankar Iyer also made the similar comment against the Prime Minister. However, we would like to point out for our viewers that this video, in fact, that has come to light is a little older, about 1 to 2 years old, in fact, where Gopal Italia had made those comments. But we do see that the BJP is raking up this issue once again and sharing those videos and is claiming that, of course, that Gopal Italia has had several antecedents and that this is not the first time that such a video of the Aam Aadmi Party leader has come to light. Because remember, during the time that he had made these videos as well, he was not in the Aam Aadmi Party, and that there was an independent that was going on, protest that was going on with respect to the Patidar community. And we do see now that he has once again those videos are being shared by the BJP, and BJP taking cognizance of it and are claiming that this is the language that the Aam Aadmi Party leaders also use for the Prime Minister. And that is why we do see that the Gujarat BJP as well is all set to do a press conference of the same, and is also going to be addressing not just Gopal Italia but also Ishudan Gadvi and Kejriwal, and for that matter Raghav Chadha, who is on his Gujarat visit as well. And we are of course seeing how the NCW has also taken cognizance of this, and the NCW has sent him a summons for 13th of October for 12:30 p.m. And before that, he will have to send in his statement and justifying as to why he was making these statements. Because the NCW has not just called it those are casteist slurs, but also misogynistic in nature as well. And those parts is something that Gopal Italia will have to come out and defend his words that he had said a while ago. And now we are seeing that this is also becoming a central issue for the Gujarat elections. that are all set to take place by November.
Thank you, Priyanka, for getting us those details. Of course, on one hand, the BJP has hit out at the Aam Aadmi Party regarding the fact that Gopal Italia did hurl those abuses at Prime Minister Modi. But on the other hand, of course, like Priyanka pointed out, the NCW has also taken cognizance of this matter, and he has been issued a summon, and he will have to appear on October 13th is what we understand. We'll continue to track that particular story. But moving on to other news now, after an action-packed day one, Prime Minister Modi will be seen inaugurating a slew of projects in Bharuch, Ahmedabad and Jamnagar today. Let's take a look at his itinerary.
After an action-packed event in Modhera in Gujarat, which saw the launch of projects worth rupees 3,900 crore, to Modhera being declared as India's first solar-powered village, to offering prayers at the Modeshwari Mata temple, and a beautiful light and sound show at the famous Sun temple. Today, Prime Minister Modi is planning to visit Bharuch, Ahmedabad and Jamnagar. At 11 a.m, Prime Minister Modi will dedicate projects worth rupees 8,000 crore in Amod in Bharuch in Gujarat. At around 3:15 p.m, Prime Minister Modi will inaugurate Phase 1 of Modi Shaikshnik Sankul, an educational complex for needy students in Ahmedabad. The project will help provide facilities to students for holistic development. Thereafter, at 5:30 p.m, Prime Minister Modi will dedicate and lay the foundation stone of projects worth rupees 1,460 crore at Jamnagar. These projects relate to irrigation, power, water supply and urban infrastructure.
This is the 3-day tour of the Prime Minister that has started yesterday from Modhera, where he had inaugurated several projects and also dedicated to the nation and announced to the world that Modhera is the first village that has been powered by the solar energy and has given 100% cost reduction to the residents and the beneficiaries there in the village, in and around Modhera as well. And now we see that the Prime Minister is going towards Bharuch and then of course in Ahmedabad, and also will be spending the night in Jamnagar.
With BJP's popularity standing the test of time, ruling Gujarat since 1995, it's a fight to the finish, with Congress, Aam Aadmi Party and other political parties eyeing a share in Gujarat's electoral pie. Bureau Report, Republic TV.
Here are the other stories that we're tracking at this hour. Prime Minister Narendra Modi is on a 3-day visit to Gujarat, where he's all set to launch slew of projects worth over rupees 14,000 crore. Now, the PM will also address gatherings ahead of the state assembly polls due later this year. West Bengal leader of opposition Suvendu Adhikari writes to Union Home Minister Amit Shah and West Bengal governor demanding urgent deployment of central forces in the wake of Manipur violence. Amid Prime Minister Narendra Modi's Gujarat visit, AAP leader Gopal Italia sparks fresh stoke. In a viral video, he can be seen using derogatory language against the Prime Minister. This triggered major political storm between BJP and the Aam Aadmi Party. After the Election Commission froze Shiv Sena's bow and arrow symbol, the fight for the Sena symbol continues to intensify. After a day of hectic parleys, Shinde faction to submit symbol option to Election Commission today. We're slipping into a short break right now, but on the other side, CBI news titans Liquorgate, Boinpalli Abhishek is now under arrest.
Last year, we were all geared up.
This network is proof that everything in India is green.